Welcome along, fellow time travelers and strange historians in the Strange History Society study group. A while back, we did a study group about the Egyptian pyramids, and here is some of what we discussed. Number one, the Egyptian pyramids were built during the Old Kingdom period of ancient Egypt. That was somewhere between 2686 BCE and 2181 BCE. The pyramids were built as tombs for pharaohs and their consorts, who were considered to be, kind of divine beings in ancient Egyptian culture. As you likely know, if you go to modern-day Cairo, you can see the famous Egyptian pyramids. They're located in Giza. And then you've got the Great Pyramid of Khufu that everybody knows, that is the largest and oldest pyramid at Giza. It's also known as the Pyramid of Cheops. And in case you're wondering, Khufu, or Cheops, was an ancient Egyptian monarch, and he was the second pharaoh of the 4th dynasty, and that was in the first half of the Old Kingdom period. Now check this out. That pyramid, the Great Pyramid of Khufu, was originally 480 feet tall. It's been reduced a little bit. It's down to 453 feet due to erosion and, unfortunately, the removal of its capstone. And I'll talk about that capstone in a bit. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, right? People are wondering, God, how long did it take to build that? Well, it's estimated that it took 20 years to build. And it used around 2.3 million stone blocks that weighed somewhere between 2 and 80 tons each. Wow, that's pretty impressive. There's probably some mathematical formula. If anybody knows, please put those in the comments below about how many blocks would be needed based on what? The length and width and height of the pyramid, right? And based on the size of the blocks. If anybody knows how to do that, I've not looked into it yet, but I'd be interested in that mathematical formula. But anyway, one block would have been laid in order to do this every 5 minutes of every hour for 24 hours a day for the entire 20 years. Do you think that happened? Because that seems to be the general consensus. And so, how were the pyramids constructed? We did talk about that in another video with aliens and space astronauts and all kinds of cool stuff. Now, how were the pyramids constructed? Well, they say that it was done with a system of ramps and also some pulleys, along with, as you can imagine, the labor of thousands, tens of thousands of skilled workers and a whole bunch of slaves. The interior of the pyramid, we didn't talk too much about that, but I think you probably already know that there were intricate burial chambers inside, and they were filled with treasures and all kinds of offerings for the afterlife. So that was kind of interesting. We'll probably talk about that in another live stream. Now, the pyramids that you see, right, there's 3 big ones, but they're actually surrounded by smaller pyramids for the pharaoh's family members and also some nobles, as well as some mortuary temples and causeways. Most people know the Great Pyramid, but there are actually 3 principal pyramids. You've got Khufu, that was 481 feet high, sometimes called Cheops, as we said. Then you have Khafra, which is 471 feet, and then you have Menkaure, which was 213 feet. We also talked about the placement of the pyramids. And what's interesting is they were designed to align with certain astronomical phenomena, such as the rising of the sun, and of course the constellation Orion. And at that point, we talked about that Prince song, The Arms of Orion. We didn't talk too much about the Sphinx. I think we just very briefly mentioned it. And as you likely know, the Sphinx is a mythical creature because it's got the head of a human and the body of a lion. And it's located near the pyramids at Giza. By the way, the Sphinx is believed to have been built during the reign of Khafre, who was the son of Khufu. I think what a lot of people were fascinated about, and still are, is that the pyramids, the way we see them today, isn't how they always looked. Originally, they were covered in polished white limestone, and unfortunately, that's been largely eroded away. Now let's talk about that capstone again. It's actually a pyramidion. And what that is, a small pointed capstone, or the apex of a pyramid. And typically they were made of granite or limestone or some other durable stone. And then they were plated with gold or something called electrum, which was an alloy of gold and silver. And the pyramidion was considered to be a really important part of the design of the pyramid. and they would be decorated with images and inscriptions. But check this out. In some cases, they were also believed to have magical or religious significance, and they would serve as a sort of symbol of the pharaoh's connection to the gods. And what they would do is the pyramidion was placed on top of the pyramid after the construction was completed, and so that completed the pyramid shape and provided a kind of nice final touch of elegance, let's say, to the structure. And even that, the whole process of getting that up there, everything about the construction of pyramids is fascinating. Another thing that people don't know, because you imagine what the pyramids look like today, but they were once adorned with really intricate carvings and inscriptions, sadly, largely lost to time. For centuries, people like you, people like me, and archaeologists, obviously, around the world have studied and explored the pyramids. And they've revealed quite a bit of insightful information about ancient Egyptian culture and, clearly, their architecture. Just imagine what a massive undertaking it was to construct those pyramids. They required tremendous resources, and the organization from the Egyptian government and society at the time is really, I don't even know if I want to say it's astonishing. People try to think of, oh, they're primitive people and they're not as smart as us. No, think twice. These people were bright, and in order to pull off something like that, it's really, really fascinating and amazing, and honestly, good for them, right? The pyramids, by the way, were a symbol of the pharaoh's power and his wealth, and among other things, it demonstrated, let's just say, their ability to gather, to marshal, right, all of the resources of their kingdom. Now, in addition to being a tomb, in addition to showing what great power and wealth and abilities the pharaohs and these great people had, right, the pyramids also had a spiritual significance. You see, they were believed to be a kind of gateway to the afterlife for the pharaohs and their entourage. And I think we're all in agreement that the pyramids have inspired a lot of fascination, a lot of awe, a lot of amazement in people over the course of time. Think about it. It is one of the most recognized symbols in the entire world, and of course, obviously, ancient Egypt. And today, the pyramids just attract millions and millions of visitors every year, and it just goes to show you the fantastic legacy of ancient Egyptian culture and their magnificent architecture. And so this concludes this episode of Strange History Study Notes and a brief discussion about what was covered when we talked about Egyptian pyramids. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor. Hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. And if you could become a member of my channel, it would be really appreciated. I think the least expensive membership is $12 a year. So if you got an extra $12 a year, it's not like, oh, Scott needs $12. No, it really is encouraging, and it's really good for the algorithm, and it kind of shows YouTube, hey, wow, this guy, people are watching his videos, people like his videos, and it just kind of helps my videos get more attention. So if you were able to become a member, that would be great, but if nothing else, please subscribe, please share the video, and definitely like it. If you want to support this channel, I know this isn't a live stream, but if you like this kind of content, you can actually buy a super thanks in the comments below, and you can also check out the links below to see how you can make a donation directly to support my work, and also check out my sponsor. Doing stuff like that really helps me out a lot. I'd really appreciate it. Also, please do yourself a favor and go to a local shelter and adopt a cat or a dog, or more than one. You'll be very glad that you did. Until next time, I wish you safe travels on all your journeys.